Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive into the world of Insurtech. Today, we're going to be focusing on a company called B4E Insurtech and how they're well tackling some of the biggest challenges that you face
Mm.
as reinsurers and insurers. And their approach, I think, could open up some pretty interesting possibilities.
Yeah. I think what's really fascinating about B4E Insurtech is that they're not, just another insurance provider trying to compete with you.
Yeah.
They've really kind of carved out a different niche for themselves.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's clarify that then for our listeners.
Yeah.
They're not selling insurance policies directly to customers.
Exactly. Instead of being a competitor, they really aim to be a partner, providing the technology infrastructure for you to build and launch your own insurance products.
That's a very different approach.
It is. It's what they call insurance infrastructure as a service, or IIaaS for short. Think of it like Amazon Web Services, but specifically designed for the insurance industry.
So providing you with the tools and the platform to build your own products.
Exactly.
And they claim this can significantly speed up your product development timeline, potentially getting a new offering to market in under 30 minutes. Not to mention the cost savings they're touting up to 80% reduction. Those are some pretty bold claims.
They are, but they're also addressing a massive issue that's been plaguing the industry for a long time, and that is the global protection gap.
Right.
Did you know that there's a $1.8 trillion market out there that's about the size of the entire Italian economy that's underserved by insurance?
That's incredible.
Traditional insurance models just haven't been able to bridge that gap effectively.
So B4E Insurtech claims they can help solve this problem. How exactly are they approaching it?
Well, their platform is designed to make it easier for you to reach these underserved markets and these specialized niches by enabling the creation of pre-underwritten, more affordable, and easy-to-understand policies. They're aiming to make insurance accessible to a wider range of customers.
And customers who maybe haven't had access to these types of products before.
Exactly.
Okay, so that sounds promising. But the insurance landscape is constantly changing. How does B4E Insurtech equip companies to keep up with that pace?
Well, they've built flexibility and adaptability into their very core. Their platform allows you to quickly respond to changing market conditions and customer demands, essentially future-proofing your business.
That's a big claim.
It is, but they're really trying to make it possible for companies to stay ahead of the curve.
Now, a lot of insurers and reinsurers might be thinking, well, we need a lot of in-house IT expertise to be able to implement a system like this. Is that the case with B4E?
One of the things that sets B4E apart is their use of what's called no-code technology, which allows your teams to build and launch products with a very simple, intuitive interface, almost like assembling building blocks.
Interesting.
You don't need to write thousands of lines of code or rely heavily on your IT department.
It makes it much more accessible.
Exactly.
Now, many companies have already invested heavily in their existing systems. Would integrating with B4E require a complete overhaul of their current infrastructure?
Not at all. B4E's platform is designed for seamless integration. Think plug and play. You can connect it to your existing systems, avoiding the time and expense of a major technological overhaul.
So you're saying it can work alongside those existing systems
Precisely.
without creating a lot of headaches and downtime.
That's the idea.
Now, what kind of insurance products can be created using this platform?
Exactly.
Is it limited in scope? Or is there sort of a wider range of possibilities?
That's where things get really interesting. B4E's platform isn't limited to traditional insurance products. You can build anything from microinsurance for specific events to highly specialized policies for niche markets.
So give me some examples of that.
We're talking about insurance for ride-sharing drivers, policies tailored to specific weather events, coverage for cyber attacks on small businesses. The possibilities are truly vast.
It sounds like they're aiming to empower insurers to think outside the box.
Exactly. They're providing the tools to create these innovative and responsive solutions, enabling you to tap into new customer segments and new revenue streams.
Now, this faster go-to-market capability is a key point they emphasize. What sort of impact can that have on a business in a practical sense?
Well, it allows you to test new ideas, respond to emerging trends, and launch products at a pace that's really unprecedented in the industry. In today's fast-paced world, that agility can be a major competitive advantage.
All of this sounds good in theory, but what does it actually look like in action? Can you give our listeners some concrete examples of how B4E Insurtech is being used in the real world?
One area where they're having a real impact is in reaching those underserved populations we talked about earlier.
Okay.
For example, one insurer used B4E to launch a microinsurance product for mobile phone repairs in Kenya, and they reached over 1 million customers in just 6 months. That kind of penetration would have been unheard of using traditional methods.
That's a really interesting example. Can you give us some other examples of how B4E is being used
Sure.
to empower businesses and reach new markets?
Absolutely. In the next section, we'll delve deeper into specific case studies and highlight the impact B4E is having on businesses of all sizes.
Let's get into that right after a quick word from our sponsor. We'll be back in a moment to continue our deep dive into the world of B4E Insurtech.
So welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about B4E in action. And, one of the most striking things I've seen is how they're being used to address this protection gap that we've been discussing, especially in emerging markets.
Yeah, we touched on that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious to hear more about how this technology is actually being applied in those situations. What makes it different from sort of the traditional approaches that have struggled to gain traction?
Yeah, traditional models often struggle because they're just too expensive and too complex to really effectively serve these populations. B4E is kind of flipping the script on that by really simplifying product development and distribution.
So it's not just about creating new products,
Yeah.
but it's making them easily accessible to these markets.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. B4E allows insurers to design products in under 30 minutes with, minimal IT involvement. This speed and flexibility are really crucial when you're trying to tailor solutions to the unique needs and risks of these underserved communities.
Can you give us a specific example? Can you paint a picture for our listeners of what that might look like on the ground?
Sure. Imagine an insurer that wants to offer crop insurance to smallholder farmers in a remote region. Traditionally, this would be a logistical nightmare. You'd be talking about costly on-site assessments, complex risk calculations, convoluted distribution channels.
Right, huge amounts of paperwork and administration.
Exactly.
So how does B4E streamline that process?
Well, using D4E, the insurer could very quickly create a parametric crop insurance product that pays out based on very specific weather triggers. No need for complex on-the-ground assessments or, all that drawn-out paperwork. The farmers get the protection they need, and the insurer can manage risk much more efficiently.
It sounds like it cuts through a lot of the red tape.
It does.
That has traditionally made it so difficult to reach these markets.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about reaching new customers. It's also about empowering existing businesses to expand their offerings. We talked about this idea of B4E facilitating collaboration. Connecting insurers with a network of potential partners, reinsurers, MGAs, distributors. Now, anyone who can help them reach new markets and develop these innovative products.
It's really about fostering this more interconnected ecosystem where everyone can benefit.
Give us an example of how that might work in practice.
Sure. Let's say a reinsurer wants to partner with an insurer to develop a new microinsurance product for a specific market. Using B4E, they can streamline that entire process. The design, the pricing, the distribution, all within a single integrated platform.
So it cuts down on a lot of that back and forth.
It does.
It can sometimes slow these partnerships down.
Yeah, and that increased efficiency can be a real game changer, allowing companies to bring these new products to market faster and more cost effectively.
Now, you talked earlier about multi-channel distribution being a really key feature of B4E. Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit on how this is changing the way that insurance is actually being offered to customers?
Yeah. Think about it. In the past, if you wanted to buy insurance, you typically went through a broker or an agent. B4E is enabling insurers to go beyond those traditional channels.
Okay.
They can now integrate their offerings directly into digital platforms, mobile apps, even the services of non-traditional partners like telecom companies or e-commerce sites.
So you're saying I could potentially buy insurance through my mobile phone provider?
Exactly.
Or even while I'm shopping online?
The possibilities are really vast. You could imagine a ride-sharing app offering on-demand accident insurance, or a travel booking site providing personalized travel insurance options at checkout.
So it's putting the power of choice back into the hands of the consumer.
It is, and it's opening up entirely new customer segments and markets for insurers. In a world where consumers expect these seamless digital experiences, this is a crucial evolution.
So B4E is not just keeping pace with these technological advancements, but it's actively shaping the future of insurance. What's your perspective on the long-term implications of this kind of shift?
What's fascinating to me is the potential for insurers to move beyond simply being risk providers. B4E is enabling them to become true partners in their customers' lives, offering this personalized protection and peace of mind in ways that we haven't really seen before.
It's pushing the industry towards a more holistic, customer-centric approach.
That's precisely it. It's not just about selling policies anymore. It's about building these lasting relationships with customers and providing solutions that truly meet their needs.
All of this sounds incredibly promising, but I imagine that implementing a new system like B4E is no small feat.
Mm.
What are some of the key considerations for insurers and reinsurers who are thinking about making this kind of leap? What are the challenges they might encounter, and what opportunities should they be prepared to seize?
That's a great question, and it's something that we're going to explore in much more detail in the final part of our deep dive.
We'll be back after a quick break to delve into the practicalities of implementing B4E, the potential hurdles you might face, and the strategies for ensuring a successful integration. So we've talked about the potential of B4E Insurtech to really kind of reshape the industry, but let's get real for a moment. Implementing any new technology platform, especially one as transformative as this, comes with its own set of challenges.
Oh, absolutely. And, perhaps the most critical consideration for any insurer or reinsurer looking at B4E is data security. We're talking about sensitive customer information. And with increased connectivity comes increased responsibility.
Right, and that's something that's top of mind for everyone in the industry these days. So how does B4E address these concerns? How can companies be sure that their data is protected when using this platform?
Well, B4E has built in, robust security measures into its platform from the ground up, but it's also about taking a proactive approach. Companies need to make sure that their own systems are up to par, that they're compliant with all the relevant regulations, and that their teams are trained on best practices for data security.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about having those processes and procedures in place.
Exactly. This might involve investing in new security technologies, tightening up access controls, and really making cybersecurity a core part of your company culture.
It sounds like data security is not just a technical issue, it's a cultural one as well.
It really is. You need buy-in from everyone, from the IT department to the frontline staff. Everyone needs to understand the importance of protecting that customer data.
We've also talked a lot about the need for cultural change within organizations. For companies that are used to more traditional ways of doing business, embracing a more agile and tech-driven approach can be a significant hurdle.
Yeah, it's a huge shift. And it's not just about adopting a new piece of software. It's about shifting mindsets. To truly leverage the power of a platform like B4E, you need to foster a culture of innovation, collaboration, and continuous learning.
How do you actually go about doing that?
Well, it might mean breaking down silos between departments, encouraging employees to experiment with new ideas, and providing opportunities for professional development in areas like data analytics or digital marketing.
So it's really a holistic transformation, not just a technological one.
Precisely. And it's important to remember that this transition won't happen overnight. It requires a real commitment from leadership, buy-in from your teams, and a willingness to adapt and learn as you go.
For those companies that are ready to embark on this journey with B4E, what advice would you give them to ensure a smooth implementation and maximize their chances of success?
I think first and foremost, define your goals. What are you hoping to achieve with B4E? What specific challenges are you looking to solve? Once you have a clear vision, bring all your stakeholders to the table, not just IT, but representatives from every department that will be impacted by this change.
So it's about strategic planning and collaboration from the outset?
Absolutely. And don't go it alone. B4E has a dedicated team of experts who can guide you through the entire process, from implementation to ongoing optimization. They're not just a technology provider, they're a partner that's invested in your success.
So in essence, B4E is offering a really powerful toolkit, but it's up to each individual company to determine how best to utilize it, to meet their own unique needs and objectives.
That's the beauty of it. It's a flexible platform that can be adapted to a wide range of business models and strategic goals. The possibilities are really only limited by your imagination.
And that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into B4E Insurtech. I think it's clear that this company is at the forefront of a major shift in the insurance industry, empowering insurers and reinsurers to break down those barriers, embrace innovation, and ultimately create a world where financial protection is more accessible and tailored to individual needs.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be a part of this transformation. I'm really eager to see how B4E and other innovators continue to push the boundaries of what's possible in this industry.
And we hope you found this deep dive insightful and thought-provoking. If you'd like to explore the potential of B4E Insurtech for your own business, we encourage you to visit their website or reach out to them directly. Until next time, keep innovating, keep adapting, and keep your eyes